What's up, guys? It's Ian here, back today with another video, and I know it's been a few days. It's been longer than I wanted in between videos. I didn't get any topic requests, so I just didn't have much to make a video about, but my last few videos were about anxiety and mental health stuff, a bit of esoteric stuff related to the universe and evolutionary biology and other related topics. But what I wanted to also bring up to tie into those videos was, I made some notes here so I would remember to hit these topics, was that your desired end state may just be a psyop or an imprint created by media and demonic entities. So what does this mean? When you really think about it, we were just talking about anxiety and how it can be a good thing to propel you closer to your desired state. And it can be a harmful thing as well if your desired state is something that's unrealistic or unachievable. But what I really wanted to bring light to is that our desired end states are highly susceptible to manipulation and control tactics. So maybe the most desirable end state is the elimination of desire, right? To be content. Obviously, you need your basic needs, such as security, safety, food, housing, etc. But yeah, I've had people tell me, that it's time to move on with my life and move on to the next stage of life. But depending on how you interpret moving on, that could mean moving on to your next job, your next relationship, your next fitness or financial goal. It could even mean moving on from this world to the next world. Maybe if your spirit is tired of this world and all of your external goals feel like they're imprinted psyops, well, maybe there's not much left to accomplish. Now, there's still things like having a family, having kids, trying to leave behind a legacy, maybe buying land, starting a farm. These are meaningful things, but if your entire existence is planning to not have kids and just live a hedonistic existence in a cityscape / hellscape, this modern reality that has been created around us, then what is the end to that process? There is really no end to that process besides consuming and enjoying. Maybe there's an argument that we are energetic entities that come here and take human form just to experience life as humans, to experience physical joys that maybe, let's say, alternate dimensional energy beings, they cannot experience physical things like having families and creating families, eating food. They can't experience the pain, a lot of the happiness that physically manifested spirits, such as humans, are able to experience. Because when you are physically manifested in this world, we do have a physical reality that we interact with, and maybe the energetic beings that only exist in other dimensions and planes, and other, vibrational planes or other dimensions, however you'd put it, they can't experience this human experience. So maybe even if you don't have a family, there is actually a real point to the hedonistic existence, and maybe you would realize that if you fade away back into the ether or an alternate dimension, and you realize, oh, actually you were just born as a human to experience this life. But maybe from that perspective, from the energetic domain, you were able to select your difficulty, or maybe you're allotted a certain, maximum quality of human existence based on your accolades or accomplishments in that external plane, right? Maybe one cannot just select to be super tall, perfect health, billionaire, do everything you want in this human life. Maybe some people only get to select a middle class life, or some people, they get to be a human, but it's on hard mode. They have a hard life. They're born in a dangerous country without secure access to food and housing, and some people do live this human existence on a much more difficult setting. So yeah, I would guess that maybe based on your accolades and maybe your karmic balance in the spirit world, maybe you're able to select a certain quality of human life, but we can't all just freely select the best life, because that's not necessarily how it would work, right? That's not realistic, because if everybody just gets to select the best life and have the most resources, then who would do the jobs that the rich people don't want to do, right? So that makes, I guess, a bit of sense. And maybe as you increase your karmic standing, you either choose to not re-enter this physical domain, or you choose to enter a different physical domain, or you get to enter this physical domain with, let's say, an easier life start, or better health, or better physique, right? Or more resources. You just are born into unlimited resources. Obviously there's a limit, but you're born super wealthy. When my friend told me to move on, I was thinking maybe I've had a long life and the only things left are more desire, cars, women, houses, clothes, these material desires. And I would still like to get a lot of these material desires unlocked. I mean, I like the idea of them, but as I said in the beginning of the video, in the intro, how much of these concepts are my own thoughts and how much of them are just, let's say, implanted into my mind by media and people who essentially want us to believe that these desires are all organically formed. Of course, as a biological organism, your desire for women or men, or whatever, if you prefer people of the same type, that's fine as well. But anyways, your biological desires as an animal are going to be ingrained within yourself, right? But the external desires, the materials, food beyond necessary food, all of these things, maybe it's just hedonism. Hard to say. Maybe these desires are just a result of indoctrination and animalistic desires, but animalistic desires are natural desires for a human. So I think it's worth unentangling those. Those aren't really meant to be placed in the same category. I just wrote them in the same sentence. But yeah, maybe my spirit has absorbed all it was meant to from this existence. Maybe I'm not meant to be super wealthy. And I think a lot of Americans, we grow up watching all these actors and famous people and athletes and all this stuff, and we develop the misconception that I'm just waiting to become famous or wealthy, which is kind of insane, right? Because as I just pointed out a couple minutes ago, not everybody can be super wealthy, not everybody can be super famous and just sit back and do nothing. People have to work jobs. We don't all just get to choose what we want to do. Because if we did, then maybe much less would get done. There's still people who like to do things like fixing objects as a passion project, maybe like fixing cars, maybe you like farming, but for you to just break your back farming 12 hours a day, or be a mechanic in a car shop working on entry-level commuter cars, working 12 hours a day, let's be honest, if you're a billionaire, you're probably not going to choose to do that. I'd get, fixing up exotic cars and, doing your own organic farming on your own land. Those are passion projects or things that I could easily see why you would want to do those things, even if you have a lot of money. But a lot of the more menial entry-level jobs, people wouldn't choose to do those if they could do whatever they wanted. And yeah, maybe my spirit has, maybe it's not there yet, but maybe it's come close to absorbing all it was meant to from this existence. It's hard to say. And maybe the elites are somehow tricking us. Maybe once you transcend past a certain point, all that remains is transhumanism and material desire. And that's what I wanted to really reach at the end point of this video. Once your basic needs are met, you can kind of choose two paths. You can kind of choose spiritual refinement and, let's say, become a vegan or vegetarian and try to reduce the harm that you cause to the world. But if you follow that to its logical endpoint, you would probably not pursue animal desires. You might even voluntarily end your life. But I did mention in one of the prior videos that humans can shepherd their environment. We're not necessarily always going to be a net harm to the environment. And then the other path that you can follow is ignoring the spiritual path, and you can follow the material desire path, the animal desire path, you know, women, fast cars, houses, mansions, whatever you enjoy. You can follow either of these paths. You can choose a mixture of both while trying to mitigate your harm onto the world, but either way, video is just meant to have some food for thought. Please drop a comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to see in the next video so I can make my next video more quickly. If I can get some video topic requests, then I can make these videos a lot more often. If you want to see them more often, I'm happy to make them more often if I know that there's a topic that people want to see me talk about. But yeah, drop a comment down below as well. Not only your future video topic requests, but what do you think about what I said in this video? Do you resonate with it when you think about your own desires and the, maybe not end state, because that's, you know, your death, but let's say like your short to medium term mid state, your result? What result are you trying to achieve? Do you think it's a result of indoctrination and media conditioning, psyops, or do you think, are they more just natural animal desires that are natural desires? It's hard to differentiate these because there's overlap, and then there's some that are distinctly in one category or the other. There's things like wanting to be good at surrogate activities, like a sport or a physical endeavor, like, let's say, fighting, race car driving, whatever your sport of choice is, whatever you like to watch. There's those activities and endeavors that you can engage in. Maybe those are all just, to some extent, can be related to an animal desire because they place you at the top of a competence hierarchy, because, you know, we as animals like to compare ourselves to each other. Yeah, do you feel pressure in crowds when you're around other people? Do you feel like there's invisible forces and energetic forces pushing on you, pushing against you? I kind of want to go more in depth on this related to the vagus nerve and energy shielding, and if an environment is a positive or negative energetic environment, and how to cultivate a positive environment, and I guess avoid the negative or try to limit it wherever possible. Obviously, if you're born into a hard mode lifestyle, then there's only so much you can do. You can't just control everything, right? But what can you do? And are some environments entirely based on comparisons and full of negative energy? Or is that just my perception of it? Drop a comment down below on that. I'll make a longer video talking about this because that's another topic I've really been thinking about a lot recently. Are some environments just negative energetic environments, and they are much more likely to, I guess, you know, people always compare things subconsciously, but do some environments manifest negative comparisons and more harmful energies that humans direct at each other, and people with weaker energy shielding are more susceptible to that, let's say, directed energy weapons, directed human thought energy, let's say directed human emotion. Some people, it deflects right off of them, and those are generally strong, robust people, often psychopaths and sociopaths. They they're very resilient. They have a strong energetic barrier. They're resistant against negative emotional attacks. And then maybe more of your, your schizos, your emotional empaths, they're more vulnerable to energetic attacks. And do these energetic attacks only come from humans, or can they come from, let's say, energy weapons? Can they come from other forms of technology? Let's say classified technology. How do these things work? Why are some people more susceptible to negative energy, while some people it just deflects off them and they say, oh, that's just a conspiracy, it couldn't possibly exist. But some people can sense it. I think some people, historically unproven, can even see people's energy fields. They can see people's auras and the strength of them or the weakness of them. There's been individuals in the past who can see people's auras and who can evaluate the strength of a person's, let's say, defensive energy field. So I guess also the qualitative nature of it is it a positive energy field or a strong evil aura, right? Some people have a strong evil aura. Some people are neutral. Some people just have a weak aura, whether it's positive or negative. Some people have a powerful positive aura, right? There's all kinds of different ways that you could think about this. But yeah, do some environments just cultivate this harmful energy more passively, more easily? That's something I want to know. I'll research more and I'll come back with a full video on that topic. And drop a comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to see in this next video. I can't see the timer, but I think this is a long video. So yeah, please comment. Let me know what you think, and I will talk to you soon.